Hello, Barendipitous here with another video for the board game shelf, and here we've got the previous video bullet was a kind of like choose your character and fight and stuff like that. We are continuing that trend, and I've with Sakura arms. I've also just in general been very enamored with this kind of like choose your character and like fight kind of like game. And Level 99 Games does have they have BattleCon, they have Exceed, and they did not create this game, but they currently have the English distribution rights. The developer of Sakura Arms is someone is a small company in Japan called Baka Fire, and I think actually Baka Fire is the name of the person who designed this game and everything. This game's been around for a while, as far as I understand, and it has a small but very dedicated community around it. There was an English version of Sakura Arms before. It didn't last very long, and now Level 99 Games has the distribution rights for the English version of Sakura Arms, and so here we are. I love Sakura Arms. It looks like the way it's designed is so like beautiful and elegant, and definitely one of my favorite like fighting board games ever. Next to another one which is called Unmatched, but that'll be a different video. So from Level 99 Games, we have these three boxes. I am hopeful that there will be like maybe another the official Japanese version, like the original Japanese version of Sakura Arms, is still going strong and actually has even more characters than these boxes combined. So hopefully level 99 will be able to sort of catch up to that. But there's already plenty to go off of here. There are 6 characters in each box. This box is actually empty because of the way that I'm packaging things. But I just wanted to show this off. First of all, beautiful artwork, by the way. That was one thing that definitely drew me to it. I'm using this box here to basically be the character select screen. These are all the various characters, and there's also some promotional cards and stuff. And I also have some extra like Sakura petal tokens in here. But this is the character select screen. Essentially, I have them in alphabetical order, and you can sort of like choose which character you want. I will say one of the when you play this game, one thing that should be noted is that you do not choose one of these characters; you choose 2 of them. These characters are called Megami. They're basically kind of like goddesses, essentially. They each specialize in a certain kind, like weapon or fighting style of some kind. And you actually choose 2 of them, and you make a deck that combines cards from both of them, essentially. So in order to play this game well, you have to understand the underlying mechanic behind each of them. All right. I will close this for the moment, though, because here's where all the other components are. The instruction booklet, any extra component, there are some like extra boards that are specific to certain characters. But here we have the reference boards for each of the Megami, each of the characters, right? These aren't really in order necessarily, but there's a little bit of lore, not a whole lot, but at least on here. And then there's some like an explanation of the of how they play, how their cards play, and their underlying mechanic. So, for example, Sayane has a Naginata, and her she kind of like has like a mid to long, like range is a thing in this game, and her mechanic is called Idea. If your aura, which is your shield, if it is at 1 or less, your cards gain the Idea effect. So she benefits from having lower shield, essentially. Yurina is another very simple and straightforward one. She has a keyword called Resolve. If your life points is 3 or less, your cards gain the Resolve effect. So she gets stronger when she is basically desperate, kind of like a bit of a comeback mechanic here. Another example, we have Utsuro here, and Yurina has a katana, by the way. Utsuro has a scythe. She has the Ashes keyword. There's something called Shadow, and if there's 12 or more points in Shadow, then her cards get the Ashes effect. And that's kind of the thing. Like, there's generally a keyword that each of them have on their card, like that's unique to them on their cards, and the keywords are triggered by a certain mechanic, essentially. By the way, I did want to point out that. So I am aware that Utsuro and Honoka are kind of like opposites. Utsuro's side kind of like she's more about like destruction and ashes, and she has this banner that kind of goes up and around. So Honoka's more about like life and rebirth. So they are kind of like the yin and yang kind of a thing going on. You can kind of see that in their art. Scythe on the bottom, banner on the top. I think that's cool. But yeah, so yeah, we've got all kinds of like, yeah, we've got all kinds of cool Megami. I'll just kind of like briefly show each of them here. So yeah, so we got yeah, Naginata, Katana, Scythe, Himika with guns, Raira with claws, and she has a thunder and lightning kind of mechanic. Mizuki with her helm, and she has like an army of characters. She has an army that and a barracks that she kind of like brings out, which is cool. So she's like a tactician, a battle commander. She's really cool. Shinra, I like Shinra a lot. She attacks with like words and ideas and debate and everything. She has like divine plans and devious plans. Honoka has a banner. Basically, some of her cards. She has bonus cards where that bloom. So some cards will become like like will level up during the game. Yatsuha is mirror, so she cares about like numbers on both sides of the board being the same. Hagane has a giant hammer, so her idea is like momentum. When if she backs up and then attacks, then it'll be stronger, right? Yukihi has the umbrella. She has two stances, open and closed. When the umbrella is open, she is very aggressive. But when the umbrella is closed, then she's very reserved and laid back and defensive. Hatsumi with an oar. She has tailwind and headwind mechanic. Kururu has all kinds of weird stuff with like she has to do with like crazy inventions and machines, and so her cards have like different like sort of like colors and things you have to sort of like match and put together to create inventions. Talia has a mechanical mount that has different forms. Chikage has poisons, and so poisons are basically cards that you put in your opponent's deck, and that and poisons. If you have Chikage's poisons in your deck or your hand, they are frustrating to deal with. Tokoyo with artistic folding fan, so she's kind of more of a support role, but she is, if you save your energy for like your vigor, your energy, your action points, she gets stronger. Oboro with ninjutsu, basically she plays traps. And then finally Karunu, she freezes. She kind of like she has freeze tokens that take up space on your shield, which are not good, basically. So yeah. One unfortunate thing about the way that these games are kind of like packaged is that to get all the characters, you need to get all 3 boxes. You would be just fine if you just got 1 box. There's 6 characters in 1 box, and there's a lot of variety just in 1. So you really need 1, but I wanted all 3. But if you get all 3, then you get multiple boards and things like that, and so you don't really need all of those extra boards. But anyway, all you need are 2 boards, and they go together like this. Just combine, just like a puzzle piece here. If I can find, oh, here we go. Yeah, just like this. And there's also a space for like extra boards if a character needs it and stuff. So, where did I guess the Sakura tokens are in here. I guess I put them all in here. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so you'll notice that there's kind of like these boards have like a space, kind of like a space to put Sakura tokens on. Everything revolves around Sakura. The distance, your health, your ability to use ultimate attacks and your shield, everything. You'll notice there are these arrows that move around that show you how Sakura can move around. So these slot perfectly in these little spaces here, right? So if you put Sakura on here, this signifies the distance, and there are various cards that care about distance. I'll actually show you some examples of cards here from Yurina's deck. Okay, so all right, here we go. Here we have Hit Strike. She needs to be at a distance of 1 or 2, and so you start with all of these being filled up. And so however many Sakura there are on this on these stones is the distance. So if you start the game with a distance of 10 with all of these filled up, and you can, like, one of the actions you can do is you can advance. So you can kind of like move Sakura from distance to your aura, which is your shield. And you start with 10 life points in this little bowl in here, right? And you lose if you get to 0 life, right? You win if you bring your opponent's life to 0. But yeah, so right here, like this right here would be a distance of 2. This shows that you are very close to each other. And so she would be able to use this card because it has a distance of 2. There are attack cards, there are like full action cards, there are enchantments, there are utility cards, and so on and so forth. Each attack card, by the way, has 2 values. The top card is the damage that you would take to aura, and that's the top value, and the bottom value would be the damage to life. Now the thing is, it is easy to replenish aura, this is your shield, but it is not easy to replenish life. So if at all possible, you want to take damage to aura instead of shield, because if you take damage from aura, you follow this red arrow and it moves into shadow. And it is possible to move things from shadow to something else or whatever. Also, if you want, you can sort of like use the focus action, which is move Sakura from aura to your flare, and flare is what you need to play ultimate cards. That's the value here is how much Sakura and flare that you need to play the card essentially. But yeah. You basically just move the Sakura around. There's a finite amount of Sakura. You each have 10 life. There's 10. You start with 10 distance, and that's pretty. And I think also everyone starts with a certain amount of aura as well, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe not. But yeah, if you take damage to life, then it goes into flare as well. So the more that you're damaged, the more that you are powered up to be able to use your ultimate cards. And yeah, you can recover, so you can like take stuff from shadow to aura. You can advance and retreat by moving things between distance and aura. And yeah, and if you're very, very close, you can use shadow. In some circumstances, you can move from shadow to distance. And so the game is really all about manipulating the fixed amount of Sakura petals that there are, moving things from distance into aura, flare, shadow, and things are kind of like moved around and things like that. The Sakura arms is also called a duel under the cherry blossoms, essentially. So yeah, Sakura arms, like a Sakura duel, essentially is the idea. So yeah. I love this game, and the game can feel a bit complex at first, but once you get it, I found that games go very quickly, and games also tend to be like very neck and neck as well. You have to make some crucial decisions about this, kind of looking at the state of the board and what you want to what cards you want to play. I mentioned that you choose 2 characters and create a deck from both of them. So generally, basically, you only have 7 cards in your deck, and then you also have 3 ultimate cards. So you essentially have 10 cards to work with. These boards are very nice because on the back it has a chart of what all of this character's cards do, and they have some recommendations. So you can either take all the cards with a red flower or all the cards with a blue flower. Let's say, for example, that I chose these 2 characters as my Megami. I would take the blue cards from one and the red cards from another, and that would be a good, solid deck. Basically, you can pick any cards you want. You have to have 7 normal cards and 3 ultimates. So you can choose from any of those. You can choose from among the 2 Megami that you have. But the reason we have these red and blue flowers is for beginners or for people who don't want to think too hard about deck building. You can just take the recommendation of taking, the red flower cards from one and the blue flower cards from another, and you will be all set to go. If you want to just sit down and play without having to deal with deck building. So yeah, that in a nutshell is basically Sakura Arms. This is a beautiful, elegant game. I love the way it's designed. Yeah, what more can I really say here? I think the characters are really cool. I love the way that it's set up, and I love being able to sort of kind of have this choose your character kind of a situation happening. I don't know. Maybe I've just played so many platform fighters that I'm just sort of enamored by all of that. Did I use the wrong? Yeah, I did. But yeah, that is Sakura Arms. There are some really good tabletop simulator mods that can be used as well in different languages. Obviously, Japanese is the original one, and if you use tabletop simulator mods, you'll notice that there are like characters that are not here, and also new versions of like older characters. Sakura Arms has like been through a lot of the developments and like the original one anyway, and this is just sort of like the English version that Level 99 Games has like distributed essentially. But yeah, I hope to see more of Sakura Arms, honestly, of the English version. I just like the main reason I've gotten this instead of the original Japanese version is like it's harder to ship things from Japan to like America, right? And also, I don't really know Japanese that well right now. My wife is trying to learn Japanese, but honestly, for now, I'm very happy with this because 18 characters is honestly more than enough for now. And I just hope that Level 99 games will continue to support the English distribution of this. I haven't seen anything more from them recently with this. Hopefully they'll release like the newer characters sometime in the future. But for now, I am very, very happy with this. The art is beautiful. The game design is beautiful and elegant, and I'm just very happy to have this. It's a wonderful dual fighting game here. So thank you very much for watching, and until next time, all the best.